This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace.
Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Morning Mysteries. We're your hosts. I'm Grace.
And I'm Alexis.
And we're doing our last Rescue Rangers episode today. This will be an Alexis tale to wrap up the arc that our dear little rodent friends have brought us on. So I don't know if we have any other business. There'll be a new show next week. You'll find out what it is next week. We already know what it is this time.
Yes, we planned ahead. Like good students and adults, I suppose.
Students, whatever, all of the above. Yeah. I think you'll be stoked on it. We're stoked on it. It is a staple of our childhoods.
Truly.
But until then, I pass it to you, Alexis Bird.
Yes. And who are you, by the way? Wait. I
already said Grace. Ourselves. Yeah, I just felt like saying your full name.
Okay, good. I was like, wait, why did you say my name? Cool. Go for it. For those of you who didn't hear it before or who are not familiar with this podcast, I am Alexis Bird. And
I just wanted to say it.
Yeah, thanks. I like it. Yeah, cool. I'm here for it. Anyway, so yes, Grace said it very well. Today is our last episode of Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. It has been a journey, as we say, every week. And the journey is just going to continue for one more week for y'all now, because let me tell you, this one, buckle up, ladies and gents, and identifications in between, because we've got another doozy of an episode. But before I jump into it, let me just say what it's called. It's called Double O Chipmunks, actually. Well, maybe Chipmunk, I don't know. This is kind of a tangent, but if you're watching it on Disney Plus, which it's episode 45 of season 1 on there, like the actual title on the menu says Double O Chipmunk. But then when you watch it, the title card of it says Chipmunks. So whatever. I literally put the S in parentheses. I don't know which one it is. But anyway, this one, it aired on December 20th, 1989 on Disney Afternoon Adventures. And let me tell you, I mentioned it before, but it is a doozy, because today I will be telling the story of the time that the Rescue Rangers challenged the self-proclaimed world's greatest spy. And
I was working up to ask whether or not this was a 007 reference. Okay.
Yes. And what I wildly speculate to be a Hail Mary attempt to prevent the violent upheaval of his country's government.
Oh, shit.
So, it's going to get real. Okay. I'm diving right in here. December 1989. The Berlin Wall, separating East and West Germany, has recently fallen, symbolizing the collapse of European communist governments and bringing the world one step closer to the end of the prolonged Cold War era. Yes, that man's famous quotes. I won't even say his name. Anyway, tear down this wall. So the United States and the Soviet Union at this point, which soon to be Russia, they have allegedly wound down their support of various proxy wars throughout the European continent.
Allegedly. Nice.
Allegedly. However, in Czechoslovakia and Bulgaria, Romania, and in East Germany, a number of mass protests and violent uprisings threatened to unseat entrenched communist leaders and communist political parties. So in the wake,
What the fuck is this episode about, Alexis?
You'll see. I told you to buckle up. Did you not listen? You got to buckle up when you're going to war, Grace.
I got into the back seat,
boots on the ground,
and I couldn't find the seatbelt in 2 seconds, so I just gave up. And I was like, it's fine.
I'm idling right now to give you your last chance to buckle in, because trust me, it's about to get fucking crazy.
It already is.
No.
Okay.
In the wake of these violent protests and uprisings, some leaders in these formerly communist countries failed to escape their countries before facing execution. Looking at you, Romania. But perhaps some other leaders, or at least political insiders working along those ousted leaders, were able to escape and find safe passage to a new home. perhaps even some of those leaders and insiders went as far as to continue their geopolitical strategies from the shadows under new identities and through new, more clandestine tactics.
Oh.
So some of them may have been successful in reestablishing their identities and forming new organizations of operatives, both clandestine and like openly diplomatic. But others may have been thwarted by some of the world's bravest and most cunning spies, such as Chip and Dale and their fearless band of rescue rangers.
You know, I had a feeling that Chip and Dale were anti-communist.
I think so. Yeah. They're definitely either anti-communist or Antifa at a minimum. You know,
wow. They're trying to bring down the communist regime.
They're working hard because the communists actually are coming to America in this episode. So they're like, oh, hell no, we are not going to take that at our doorstep. Anyway, so
I am stunned already by the buildup. I'm worried by the buildup. I'm concerned for our dear rescue rangers, for the state of the world, for the future of the world, because it's in their little tiny paws.
Yes. And I feel like
ready.
I feel like it's pretty topical given where we are in the world today now. And so we'll see actually if YouTube like jimmies our algorithm because we're not saying the right things in this because we're bringing up too much war shit, which let me also preface the rest of today's episode by again reiterating that this is in no way, shape, or form a war or war adjacent podcast. I know we've gotten on this topic before, but as it happens, I find myself yet again diving into an episode of Rescue Rangers that involves this cutting edge like war technology and military industrial complex police state technology and the financial motivations behind the military industrial complex. Anyway, going to keep moving on because again, we're not a war podcast. So what better way to start an episode about the military industrial complex rather than by talking about a movie that essentially glorifies okay, this is the last time I'm going to mention them.
Which one?
The military industrial complex.
There's endless films.
Endless, too many. Which, side note, just saying this very neutrally, did you know that any film, and this is going to be like a half research statement because I can't like cite the source where I got this from specifically. I heard it in a podcast once, but films that use like actual US Army military equipment or like logos or want to in any way depict the military, they actually have to get like sign off from the Pentagon, from the Defense Department. Yeah, and there's like a liaison at the Department of Defense who like works with different films, Hollywood or otherwise, or shows. It's like, no, you can't really say that. You can say this though, or no, show us this way and not that way.
Do you want to know what's
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so interesting. Sorry to totally steamroll and interrupt you there. No. But of how you mentioned, like, if equipment is shown, you know what's funny about that? Because in movies and stuff, it's always like, whoa, look how high tech and that kind of stuff it is. Certain veterans I know in my life, not to put them under the bus and risk security statuses they have, but we're straight up like, like the X, Y, and Z equipment we were using was like from the fucking 60s. Like the people who are actually in the military are using like outdated shitty stuff, and it's just Hollywood being like, no, look at this great material, all these trillions of dollars is all of this new tech, and everyone's like, I have to fucking fix it like the radios every other week because they're broken and are from 1966. Anyways,
they're from before this episode of Rescue Rangers. Yes. We are not a military podcast in any way, shape, or form. But what I was just saying is that I will try to find the source of that information or a source that backs that up and at least like drop it in the notes or something, just so y'all know I didn't literally just pull that fact out of my ass. That is a true thing. Anyway, so no, unfortunately, we're not going to be talking about like a real life movie. We're going to be talking about a movie that exists in the Rescue Rangers universe. So 00 agent Dirk Suave, he is a James Bond. Dirk, yeah, right. They had to give him the last name Suave because they're like, why did we say Dirk again? That is really not Dirk. That's not like smooth whatsoever. Dirk Suave. Now it sounds good. But yeah, this guy, total like James Bond-esque type of spy, a tall, muscular, got like the big chin, thick black hair, white tuxedo coat and all that.
Nice.
And he's joined by his sidekick, Odd Shoe, who unfortunately is the pseudo-racistly drawn, much smaller Asian man donning martial arts robes and a black belt. Ugh. The voicing on him is also not great, so we're going to keep it moving. But anyway, so these two, they're trying to escape a secret facility with a bit of microfilm that they've stolen. And essentially, they're just like going back, fighting this evil guy named Dr. So-So. He's this big, bald guy with like this nice purple suit, classical guy, like evil villain, super villain, holding a gray cat. He's got these henchmen. Nice. They've all got like machetes and bazookas, normal, whatever. And so meanwhile, Dale and Zipper of the Rescue Rangers, they are watching this film and they are just like amazed at Dirk's abilities and totally geeking out over the action. And they're like dancing around, jumping, loving the movie. But while they're watching,
this was the movie that they tried to see in last week's episode. So they ended up at the opera.
I wanted to mention that when you brought up like it was his new favorite movie because 00 Agent Dirk Swab. I don't know if they never say the name of the movie, but that's what I'm going to act like the name of the movie is.
Great.
This like Dale is constantly saying like, oh, this is my favorite movie. It's my favorite action movie, all this. So that was my first thought when you said that 100%. In your last episode. Yeah. And actually, I will tangent real quick. I don't know if you've watched the movie yet. I know we keep bringing it up, but if anyone has watched the movie, there are some interesting references actually to Dale's love of 00 agent stuff in the movie.
Funny.
So I was like, oh, I should totally do this
from.
episode then. Exactly. This is where it comes from. So Dale and Zipper, they're geeking out over this movie. And as they're watching it, the rest of the Rescue Rangers, aka Chip, Gadget, and Monty, they return to the Ranger hideout. And Chip, when he walks in, he's like instantly upset with Dale, saying that Dale should have been with them actually at the police station looking for cases. We mentioned it before. That's totally how they get their jobs. They find their jobs. Essentially, Chip is like kind of shitting on these movies. Like they all in the same. It's so predictable. You're wasting your time watching these. But Dale insists that watching the movies are actually helping him to learn spy tricks, and that if the Rescue Rangers can like learn that kind of stuff, like how to get out of dangerous situations like Dirk Swab does, then it could be helpful for the whole group. But they all laugh at him and scoff like, please go to bed, whatever, like stop watching your stupid movies. And thus they all go to sleep that night. But as everyone is trying to sleep, loud noises from Gadget's workshop essentially shoot everyone awake in their beds.
Great.
And so Chip, Gadget, and Monty, they like, I think they have like weapons drawn, or like Gadget has this like flashlight gun or something, maybe. It's pretty intense. They're all like slowly creeping through the Ranger hideout, and they walk into her workshop, and they're scared and startled when they see like Dale and Zipper kind of like pop up. They're just like fucking around, testing a bunch of gadgets. Oh,
God damn it.
LOL. Gadgets in Gadget's workshop. And like Chip has put on this like white tux, Dale has put on this white tux coat, and he's got this Gadget belt. Again, keep saying Gadget, which now it's like her name makes so much more sense, or whatever. Anyway, and then unfortunately Zipper is wearing like the martial arts robes, like he's at you, but it's okay because he doesn't talk, so there's no offensive characterization. Great. Anyway, so Chip yells at Dale, seeing them like making all of this noise and like dicking around in the in the workshop that late at night. And he's asking how the gang is like supposed to get any sleep or get any rest if Dale is just goofing around. But Dale is telling him that they're not goofing around. They're actually, spending their time wisely by trying out all of these gadgets and this new equipment that Gadget has apparently made for them, which further proving that Gadget literally is just down to do whatever, invent whatever. No,
she's like slowly backing out of the room. Like, I definitely made these.
I definitely made these. Sorry, Gadget. guys.
Sergeant.
But so Dale is like demonstrating how useful all of these tools and this equipment is, and he totally makes a mess in the hideout. I think like lets off some like smoke bomb or something like that, to the point where Gadget essentially has to like fumigate the entire hideout. She's like running a blow dryer through it, and like all the doors and windows are open. And as she's doing this, Dale and Zipper, they're sad because they see that they've like upset everybody, and everyone's kind of like making fun of them for having these spy dreams. So they're like sitting outside on a branch outside of the ranger station, and they just look super ashamed of themselves. And Monty and Chip, they go back to bed, but Gadget decides to go out and talk to them because, again, she's clearly like somewhat supportive of their spy dreams, just making them whatever tools and gadgets she can. But she talks to them and says, like, it's okay, you guys. Like, all you need is a little bit more practice and just, you know, maybe be a little bit wiser with the way that just you're like, using better. These things. Yeah, just be better, please. And Dale and Zipper, though, they're like, yeah, I guess so, whatever, but we're gonna go to bed. And so they go, you know, looking defeated, heads down, walk back into the ranger hideout. And Gadget, though, she's still sitting out there, and she is just immediately overcome with emotion by seeing how sad Dale and Zipper are. So she actually starts to like cry, and she's bawling, and she promises to herself that if Dale wants to be a secret agent, then she's gonna help him. Which also, one, doesn't care about Zipper, clearly. And two, girl, that's like a whole process to become a secret agent. That's not just like something you do.
Yes, wake up.
Like, I'm gonna help him. Like, you got to get security clearances. You got to go through training. You probably have to have a college degree.
You probably need like a clean background check. I doubt Dale's got one of those.
Yeah, they're like always stealing shit from the police station. Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure that they have at least surveillance of them. Like, anyway, I think you at least like, do you need a passport? I don't know. Like, you need a lot of things. Okay, you need proof of citizenship. How does a chipmunk prove that they're a citizen?
Again, the like tangential universe to the human universe.
True.
There is the rodent animal.
The rodent spy world. Yeah, it's first, a little easier to break into.
They're like not as into borders maybe meaning so much. So, you know.
True. Yeah.
Otherwise, they have definitely committed international crimes, like when they went to England, South America, like
all these places going to keep it moving. So the gangs they all go off to bed, and the next morning we actually get a nice scene change. Sunset is rising, and it's hitting a military installation. We're back on war, y'all. Okay. I'm going to presume that this military installation is somewhere in like upstate New York, because we think that the Rescue Rangers are in New York City. And so it seems very calm outside of this military base. But inside, an elaborate and evil plan is taking shape. Unfortunately, an acclaimed scientist by the name of Professor William Whitebread, I directly quote, the inventor of a jet tank that responds to thought, he is being held hostage in a locker, no less, inside of this military installation. And his captor has stolen his clothes and ID in an attempt to impersonate the man. And so this evildoer, this captor, has maybe like a Czech or a Bulgarian or Romanian or German or
an Eastern European,
maybe even Transylvanian. I don't know. Is that even still a place? I'm not sure. Was it ever?
in 1989.
Yeah, right. Anyway, some East European accent.
Oh no.
He's tall. He's very lanky. He's got like these strung out eyes, bags under his eyes, and looks very like stern and serious. And he's bald, has like an egg head. But he's putting on this white wig and a fake mustache, like a la Albert Einstein almost, who Professor Whitebread pretty much looks exactly like.
And like is German.
Is German, exactly, right. So it works, I guess.
Yes.
So he's reciting this captor, he's reciting his evil plan to bid off this jet tank for what would likely be a very, very hefty price. And so getting back to my wild speculation that I briefly mentioned earlier, I assume that this device would be used in this guy's mind, the spy's mind. He's going to use it to crack down on the imminent violent uprisings happening throughout communist Europe, particularly in his home country of, let's just say, Romania or Bulgaria. I don't know, because he's thinking that this I don't know, that the writers of this episode could have
changed it every time you say it.
Boom. Well, now I got to keep them all straight in my mind, which ones I've gone through. Yeah. So I think that he's trying to use this jet tank, one, because like I said before, he's going to bid it for a lot of money. And what evil person doesn't just want a bunch of money? But he also knows that he can sell it to one of these governments, or at least the schematics to all of the governments, so that they can then use it to keep the communist powers in power, because they're like, oh no, if we have this tank, none of these people are going to be protesting and uprising around here today. So so this evildoer, we're going back out of my wild speculation now, this evildoer, he's leaving, which, by the way, they don't give him a name like officially. He's a spy, so that makes sense, but literally what they credit him as is the greatest spy in the world. So that's what I'm gonna call him.
Great.
So the greatest spy in the world leaves the locker room, and as he's leaving, he pulls 3 rats out of this lab coat that he's put on to impersonate Professor Whitebread. More rodents, guys. And he throws these rats into this air duct over a door, so that they can sneak into the facility's testing area. And by the way, these rats are fucking hilarious, okay? 2 of them, so their names are Mo, Louie, and Francis. 2 of them are tall, Mo and Louie, and they're just wearing like these different shades of blue trench coats with fedoras. And then the third one, Francis, he's very small and like a little bit plumpier, and he's like the leader of the gang. He is wearing like an old-timey stagecoach driver's uniform. It's like a duster coat.
Do you have like a little cap?
It's not like one of those caps. He has, I think it's like a it's like a mobster hat, like the ones with like the really like the elongated fedora. It's like one of those, but it's like a red duster coat that has like the attached shawl, I guess. And he's got sorry. It's very funny because it's so out of place for being like working with a spy. It's like the massive white collar like coming out of this duster jacket and a bow tie, and then like white gloves. It's like white.
They always say take one thing off before you leave the house. He did not. But also my immediate question is like, how'd you become the greatest spy? What is it? The greatest spy in the world?
In the world, yeah.
He's like sitting in his like lair, like sewing these little costumes for his rat henchmen. He's like, attention to detail is how I became the greatest spy in the world. And it's just like him sewing, like taking measurements of his little mice friends. There's like a montage of a fashion show where like the little stocky one like had the blue trench coat, and they're all sitting there and they all shake their head, and then he comes out in this crazy red duster coat and everything,
hemming the coat on them and everything, and then, like it's too long.
And then he comes back out in the red coat and they all just nod their heads. Like, that's the one.
As they're nodding, though, the greatest spy in the world like pulls out this like beautiful wooden box, like mahogany wood, opens it up, and it's the white gloves.
Takes it out slowly.
Puts them on Francis's hands. Yeah.
Now let's go take down or I guess prop up some governments, start some communist regimes.
Yeah, let's go take down.
Let's go
capitalists,
murder some innocent protester.
Western democracy.
Have at it, folks.
Can't do it without your old-timey stagecoach looking uniform. Oh my gosh. Yeah, very funny. You'll love it when you watch it.
I'm so excited.
Anyway, the rats, they go through the air ducts, they unlock and open the door through, or they get into the facilities testing area through the air ducts. They go down, they unlock and open the door for the greatest spy in the world. And he walks in and makes his beeline directly for the schematics for this jet tank that are resting on a desk. And he's fascinated by the schematics, like looking around for the device that's drawn on them, which, like, how can you miss it? It's literally a giant tank.
Yeah,
it's a jet tank. Yeah. Jet and tank combined. When you watch it, you'll see how ridiculous.
Even more impressive, honestly.
Yeah, truly. This is why this dude knows he's going to get some money for it, and how they're going to kill some. Well, anyway. So he's looking around for this device, and he accidentally uses so I mentioned before, it's thought controlled.
Right.
I think maybe I didn't say that long
or
whatever. I did. Okay. So, which is very important because it has this remote that or a helmet that attaches to a remote, and you think it, and the jet does things.
Does it? Okay.
And so he is looking around for that remote and the jet too. Okay, where's the jet and where's the thing I used to control
all the shit?
The schematics are dope, but where's everything else? And he turns around and sees that the remote is on the back of either Mo or Louie's head.
Oh no!
It's on a rat's head. I don't know, but these are the dumb rat henchmen, unfortunately, or the dim-witted
Three
ones.
Stooges.
Yes, exactly.
Great.
And so he just kind of looking all confused, what, me? And then he triggers something in the jet tank that actually fires this massive hole into the wall of this military research installation. So at this point, the greatest spy in the world, also not looking like the greatest spy in the world.
Yeah.
But he's
the goodest
freaking
spy
out.
In the world, no longer the greatest.
Yeah, so he's freaking out, saying that the soldiers, the facility guards are going to be after him because it's kind of fucking hard to miss a loud explosion and see a hole in the wall. And so he quickly hands over the microfilm that has the jet tank schematics. He hands it over to his little 3 rat henchmen and tells them to get home with it while he handles the soldiers. Damn, dude, you're gonna handle a whole military base worth of soldiers? They don't go into what he means by handle.
Yeah,
by the way.
Rescue Rangers getting dark this episode.
Dark. Thankfully, this is our last episode for now because
right before it went too dark.
I need to take a little break, a little pause after this.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, the evildoer, the greatest spy in the world. I don't feel calling him that anymore. Yeah, but I feel he's not worthy of that title. So he challenges these soldiers as the rats take off, running through this new nice hole, an access hole in the wall.
It's convenient.
And so meanwhile, it's now, maybe early afternoon, and we are back at the Ranger hideout. And Dale and Zipper, they wake up. Classic. They had a late night, so they had to sleep in a little bit. And they're still ashamed of their behavior from the night before, unfortunately. And Dale's where's everyone else? Maybe, I guess they're still so mad at us that, they probably didn't even want to wait for us. Yeah, it's pretty sad, these two, actually. But their day gets a little bit better because soon after Dale says this, they hear a knock at the door. And they answer it and see this bombshell blonde damsel in distress and or femme fatale, which I know are opposite things, but I don't think the writers could pick which one they wanted her to be because she's very oh, I need your help. But she's also about to get them into some shit too. So it's oh, this woman may kill you.
Yeah, I'm gonna already err on the side of femme fatale because of the James Bond connection, and also clearly she knows that's how to hook them in.
Right.
It's all a game in my head already for her. Good for her. Yeah,
she's good. So this woman, though, she's got platinum blonde hair. quite a bit of eyeshadow and lipstick in this very vibrant red dress with a nice long slit going up the leg.
Wow, it's like 7 a.m.
Right, right, girl. Who you go? You know she's coming from somewhere. She didn't just go somewhere.
Yeah, you right.
So she's pleading for help from Dale and Zipper, saying that her cousin Gadget told her to get help from the rescue rangers if she was ever in danger. Oh. And before Dale and Zipper can even like say anything, Dale is just too busy like drooling over this woman. She quickly shoves some microfilm and a map into Dale's hand, saying that the film needed to be delivered immediately and that the map would lead him to her contact. So she runs to leave the hideout, but as she's running, she warns Dale to be careful and that enemy agents are everywhere. She tells Dale a password also to recite when he meets her contact. And the password is 7 shy spies stole the shyster's secrets, which... Why would you make it that password? Yeah, that's not. Why would you make it that difficult? That's not a password. Yeah. And 3, Dale, it doesn't matter. He's totally distracted by this woman, so he doesn't get any of it. Thank God
Zipper can't talk. There. He's not going to say it.
I guess I can translate for him though somehow, or they can understand me. I don't know, because that's what they're relying on at this point. So Dale, he's Lord. Like super distracted by this woman who is, on her way out. She's like throwing herself all over him, like holding him, kissing him, everything classic. So it's like, damsel in distress, femme fatale. A little bit of both, but but we're going to say femme fatale. And so, sorry, I'm thinking ahead to how this goes down. We can cut this out if we want to.
Nope, leaving it in. Nope.
Cool. So thankfully, Zipper, he was nearby. He did actually listen to the assignment because Dale clearly is already proving that he does not have what it takes to be the super spy that he hopes to be. He would totally fall into the honeypot with the quickness. But after this woman leaves, this femme fatale, we see Chip and Monty actually hiding in a tree branch above the hideout. And they're in gangster costumes, actually, like wearing trench coats and fedoras. And then the damsel / femme fatale, she scurries up right behind them. And it turns out it's actually just Gadget. Of course, she like takes off her wig and she tells the boys maybe this game will make Dale feel like a real spy. Aww. But Chip, he's angry and he's like, you didn't have to kiss him. We've talked about it before. Clearly, Chip and Dale are super into Gadget. They're always fighting for her attention. Chip is now super from the jump of playing this game. Because remember, Gadget has promised she will help Dale become a spy. So Chip is like 2 seconds into the game. He's like, nah, fuck this. This is not cool. Yeah, I'm done. But anyway, so after Chip says this, Gadget's like, well, golly, isn't that what spies are supposed to do?
I mean, if she's only seen James Bond or Dirk Swap movies, like
I guess probably, that is what she thinks. These none of them are ready for this at all. Let me just say, this is how they view spies. This is not going to go well, let me tell you. So anyway, the trio, that group, they then like scurry away from the tree to get to the next stop on the map, or I guess like the first stop in the game before Dale and Zipper get there. And meanwhile, back inside, Dale and Zipper, they're getting all suited up, super excited, and they're getting hyped for their secret agent case. And Dale is like reading through the map saying that they are supposed to apparently rendezvous with a friendly agent on hole 3 or hole 4 of a nearby golf course.
Okay.
So they make their way. I guess there's like probably a golf course in or near Central Park, I think. I don't know. Yeah.
Sure. Is it like a mouse-sized one, maybe?
Yeah, it's a putt-putt. It's like putt-putt. Yeah, for all we know.
Perfect.
So meanwhile, in the city, though, we see Francis, Louie, and Mo, the 3 rat henchmen, running around with this microfilm from that upstate New York military installation. They're trying to get home. They're trying to decide whether they want to like dodge the traffic or like and take the sewers or just like stick it out on the sidewalks. But they figure that the sewers are probably a safer bet because, again, they're trying to be spies. So you kind of want to stay out of the open. But as they're all like kind of plopping down through these sewer grates, the one who is holding the microfilm, it's either Mo or Louie, one of the tall ones. Like, listen, they literally look 100% identical besides the shade of the coat, which is why they have different coats, literally, probably just so the animators and writers could tell which one was which. So I'm just going to use their names interchangeably between this because I don't know who's who. But one of the two, he's holding the microfilm, but he's like struggling to get into the sewer grate. So he kind of like places it down by him gently as he squeezes his little rat booty down there. But, you know, perhaps he took it out of his eyesight for just a second, maybe. And unfortunately, at the same moment on the surface up above, Dale and Zipper are making their way to that golf course. And, you know, Dale, he's not the greatest with, well, anything, unfortunately. So at one point he decides, you know, to try to make sense of the map, he decides to place the microfilm that they have down on a curb so that he can like flip it around. But I think it's like maybe like a horn honking or something that startles them and they like knock it over and it falls on the sewer grate. Zipper quickly flies down to get that microfilm that he and Dale were holding on to, but it may have been a little bit too late and got switched up with, unfortunately, the microfilm that Mo, Louie, and Francis were trying to transport back to the greatest spy in the world's hideout. So, unfortunately, all microfilm in 1989 looks exactly alike. So you can't really differentiate just like when you're on the go in a rush situation. Yeah, they're both like, oh my God, we have to get this back before the spy kills us. And we have to get this to the golf course before Gadget's cousin, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with her, but we're doing what she told us to. Which, yeah, by the way, she never, all she said was,
they have no context.
They have none whatsoever. Like they could be doing the most evil. Exactly. They could be doing the most evil thing ever and have no clue.
Okay, real quick, TBH, when I didn't at first realize I was Gadget in disguise, aka you didn't say it right away. I was like, oh yeah, is this a femme fatale who's actually like gonna trick them and is like giving them the actual thing and they're gonna get like they're gonna do it without question, and in reality like they're actually helping this villain and like these Three Stooges mice. But okay, now it's just an accident. In our
rewrite of Rescue Rangers one day that Disney will obviously hire us to do, that's going to be the story, because I was kind of thinking that would be a better way for this to work out too. Perhaps not as child friendly because they don't want to see the heroes doing like this super evil work, but we're not kids anymore, so we can make the Rescue Rangers.
We're ready for it.
Fucked up shit. We're ready for it. We've grown. We've matured. I want to see them.
I'm ready to see them accidentally lead to the death of thousands of innocent people
and the execution of the Romanian communist leader. I want to see it. Let me see it.
Ready. Anyways.
So the rat henchmen, unfortunately, after this little mix-up that none of them at least are aware of yet, they return home, which actually, again, making this greatest spy in the world look a little less great. Home for him is actually this like old worn down wooden farm stable looking building with like a moss covered roof in the middle of this creepy, dense, fog covered pasture.
Very Scooby-Doo.
Very Scooby-Doo. I don't know where they are. Like,
they're not New York City anymore.
This is not New York anymore. They like were outside of the city, went into the city. I don't know, maybe they're in Connecticut. I'm not sure. So anyway, they get into this home and they immediately give the microfilm to the evildoer / boss. They also call him at this point / greatest spy in the world.
Thank you.
From Czechoslovakia at that time. And so the boss is inspecting the microfilm. But however, it is at this point that he realizes, because he uses his eyes, that a horrible mistake has been made, and that much to the surprise of Francis, Louis, and Mo, the boss, he's like, yo, this is the wrong microfilm. He like opens it up and he's like, these are pictures of rodents on vacation. It's like the rescue rangers on a picnic at the beach, at their ranger hideout. Just a bunch of pictures of them out in nature. And the rats are like looking at the pictures like, no, it can't be. And they're like, shit, wait, oopsies. But they immediately recognize where at least like the ranger hideout pictures are, because they recognize some of the background stuff from being in Central Park. So the boss orders them to retrieve the microfilm immediately, or else he'll essentially like kill them.
Yeah, I mean, he did just come back from like murdering soldiers, so yeah.
Yeah, we assume.
Some rats.
They never showed him taking on the guards, but like he's home without a scratch on him, so I don't want to see what the other side looks like.
Exactly.
Anyway, so we go back, we return to Dale and Zipper on their 00 dream game. They have finally made it to the third or fourth hole, and they're waiting for the friendly agent. But as they're waiting, an enemy agent, Chip, wearing a fake rat snout and a gangster outfit, he sneaks up on them, and this is the funniest scene of the episode. He holds them at gunpoint, but he does that trick, not really a trick, you know, when like, maybe not from experience, you know this, but when someone wants to like rob you, but they don't actually have a weapon, but they want to make you, so they like put it in their pocket and they stick it.
Oh my God, is Chip doing that?
Yes. So he's got like his hand like pointing his jacket at
also
him.
Like, damn, Disney.
Damn. It's so it's funnier though. He's like demanding they hand over the microfilm as he's doing this, and Dale and Zipper, they trick Chip. I think they like flash this cool like light at him or something that blinds him and makes him fall into like the third or fourth hole. They never really say which hole it is, third or fourth. And so they run away and get to safety. And as they're walking away or running, I guess, still looking for this friendly agent, they overhear some discussion in the green, you know, kind of over yonder. Good ears, I guess. But they hear the rest of the rescue rangers talking about the game being almost over because, again, Chip is complaining like, I'm sick of this. Gadget's kissing Dale. Dale and Zipper are beating me up. I'm trying to have a good time. I just got blinded and like kicked into a golf hole. Like, this is awful. I'm done. And Dale, he overhears this though, and he realizes that he's been had. He's been played, y'all, because literally the whole afternoon has been nothing but a game, a waste of time, a fake case orchestrated by his so-called friends, which there's a debate there, but I don't know.
Yeah, if I feel like they went above and beyond.
Yeah, that was a little too far. So his sadness, though, it's quickly wiped away when he remembers how fun he was having still, though, with Zipper acting like spies. So he's like, why don't I go ahead and just lean into this and make it even more fun? Because now that I know it's a game, I can actually fuck with them, too. And so he makes his way back towards where he's supposed to meet this friendly agent. But again, he runs into the enemy agent, aka Chip, on his way. And this time, he's not even trying anymore. He's not doing the hand in the jacket thing. At this point, he's literally just like sticking his fingers up at Dale, like stick. So it makes me wonder if they realize that Dale knows now. I don't think they do, as I'll get into in a minute. But yeah, because not even trying. He's like, that's it. I've had enough of this. Give me that microfilm. And so Dale, he again like lassos him or, you know, something and, you know, knocks him out, puts him back into another hole. Poor Chip. Or actually, no, sorry. This time it wasn't a hole. It was actually like the pond or the like a water feature at the golf course. So even worse off, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And so Chip, at this point, he's pissed. So he's like stomping back to the rescue ranger hideout. And somehow Monty and Gadget have gotten back there too. Dale and Zipper, they're still at the golf course. I guess still waiting for this friendly agent.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Chip, Monty, and Gadget have all gotten back to the ranger hideout. And Chip's like, okay, you guys, that's it. I'm like, for real, I'm done now. Like, this is too much. we're going too far. I'm getting my ass whooped over here. But he realizes, like, he looks up and sees Monty and Gadget on the couch and realizes that they have actually been bound and gagged. They're like tied. They're tied up. They've got like shit tied over their mouth so that they can't talk, like whatever. And Chip is like, oh my God, wait, whoa, this just got real. I thought we were playing a game, but he's quickly, before he can like freak out and like run for help, he's grabbed by the shoulders by Mo and Louie. And they're like holding him down. So they've broken into the ranger hideout. They've already, held those two hostage, Gadget and Monty. And now they're essentially like torturing Chip, asking him how they ended up with the Rescue Rangers microfilm. And Chip, poor dude, he instantly is like, oh my God, like facepalm. I knew Dale would fuck this up somehow, essentially. He doesn't say fuck this up, but he literally says, oh, I knew he'd mess up. Like, of course, yikes. Dale. Here we go. And so Francis, he grabs Chip by the collar and he's telling him that he hopes Francis hopes that Chip knows how to get their microfilm back so that they don't have to mess him up, which very nice. They're like at least warning him first, like, hey, we won't mess you up if you get that film back.
Yeah, go get it and then it's all good.
Nice warning. Yeah. And so Francis tells Mo and Louie to take Monty and Gadget back to their home, farm, stables, whatever, as collateral to guarantee that Chip actually takes Francis to find the microfilm.
Yeah.
And so Dale, I mentioned before, he's just still like strolling around this golf course, having so much fun. Yeah. He's like leaning into the spy game. It's like his dream. Now he's like, it's not real anymore, but I still get like a reason to use these gadgets and stuff without them getting mad at me. And as they're literally just strolling aimlessly around, Chip and Francis, they frantically run up to Dale and Zipper. And Dale, though, he still thinks it's part of the game, right? He's like, oh, great. So the Rescue Rangers have brought in extras now. I don't know where they found this schmuck in a stagecoach driver's outfit, but he's really playing his part off of
Broadway or something. Like, okay. Fresh
he's from the opera last week. And so Dale, he immediately starts joking around with Francis and Chip, saying that if they want the microfilm, they're going to have to tell him the password. And he like pulls a strap on out of his coat and it like opens this jetpack propeller thing and he like flies off and whatnot with Zipper. Cool. And he's just like laughing.
But also like, you have to say to hear the password.
Yeah, I know. He didn't even give him a chance.
Yeah.
He just left. Like, okay, well, we were gonna say it, but now you can't hear us.
Right. Shouting it.
No, it's like just their little squeaks though.
Yeah.
Can't hear it. And so Chip, he's like looking very like bashfully at Francis, like, oh my God, please don't kill me. I swear. Like he thinks that it's a game because we were joking around earlier today. Really bad timing. I know, but I swear that's what's going on. And so then Francis says, well, if it's a game, it looks like you just lost.
Damn, Francis.
So Francis is not fucking around at this point because he knows that like they don't get their shit back, he's dead. So he's like, well, I might as well kill you.
Their country back.
Yeah, which also, I'd never mentioned this, but the rats do not have European accents.
Aww.
They are American through and through. I mean,
Damn
I guess
it.
maybe they like were rats from America who got like somehow transited over in some like diplomatic attache or something, and they found their way in
or maybe
Bulgaria. Yeah, or that too. Yeah, they're spies. So
yeah, I was saying, the Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
Double agents, it
everywhere.
Could be anything.
Spies among us. Among us. And so Francis, he takes Chip back to the literal stables that the boss apparently calls home, or the greatest spy in the world from Romania apparently calls home. And we see Francis watching over like all of these rescue rangers who are all tied up at this point. And at his command, he tells Mo and Louie to hit a button. Then they hit it and it triggers all of this high-tech equipment, like these computers and monitors and radars. They like shoot up out of the floor around the perimeter of this stable. So it's like, okay, now I get it. Cool. Now it kind of makes sense. It's like super high-tech, but there's still like hay and stuff behind the computers.
It's like on the top of the computer.
And Francis tells the Rangers that when the boss arrives, he'll want that microfilm. But Chip is assuring him, hey, like, we're not going to give it to you, even if we had it. So you might as well just do your worst, which also probably Monty and Gadget are like, stop, no,
bro,
give him the fucking microfilm, whatever they're talking about. Yeah. And Dale, somehow, he actually followed the scent of the rescue rangers, probably actually of Francis and the rats, because they've been like running around in sewers all day. He followed their scent back to the stables. And he and Zipper now are kind of like staking out like the upper level rafters or whatever, sitting up there talking about how cool this spy hideout looks, not really like realizing how much like imminent danger the rescue rangers are actually
hideout. Yeah.
But also he's like shouting about how cool it is. And so as soon as he gets
they're always
shouting. As soon as he gets in there, literally like Moe, Lou, and like they all just immediately look up, like, go get him. Whoops. Okay. So Moe and Louie, they run upstairs to grab Dale and the microfilm. But Dale, again, he's got this awesome utility belt and all these cool gadgets, and Zipper's got these great fighting and karate skills. So they're able to take down these two goons, essentially forcing them to like fall off of the platform in the attic back down to the lower level. They're fine though. It's okay. They got lucky because they should not have been okay.
Hey, maybe.
True. Hopefully, I guess we'll assume so because they are still alive. Francis realizes at this point that Dale really believes this to all be a game. And so he too is now deciding to lean in. And he's like, he pulls Mo or Louie, one of them, close and is like acting like he's fixing a costume. And he yells up to Dale, like, hey, could you give me a hand doing this costume change? And Dale, right? Yeah. If you can't beat him, join him. Right.
Kinda smart.
So Dale agrees. And rather than just taking the stairs down, he lassos the microfilm out of like the little canister God, around a rafter and like Tarzan ropes down to the
also they're like, he's ruining the film. That's
exactly what they say. He's ruining the microfilm. That's exactly what they say. And Dale lands doing this badass superhero or super spy landing, I will admit. But as he does, Gadget's like, dude, those are real spies. You just fucked up. Dale's like trying to pull the costume off of them as Francis is like pissed off that he's ruined the microfilm. And then they just like close in on Dale and Zipper and all right, y'all are hostage too. So at this point, since the microfilm is ruined, the rats are actually pretty smart. They realize that they've got to go back to the military installation and just get another copy. So maybe this place actually isn't in upstate New York, because that would be a lot of traveling for one
Maybe their
day.
hideout is in upstate.
True. Yeah. Why they were running through the city again, I don't know. Maybe the I don't know. I don't think the riders know
someone
either.
off their tail.
Their rat
by
tail.
Going a different direction instead of just
true. You have to make sure you're not getting followed. Yeah, true. So the rats, they take these rescue rangers back to the military facility, and
they bring them with them.
Yeah, they bring them with them. They don't have a car. I don't know, Grace.
But like, they're tied up. Leave one person back there with them.
No, they had to. They had to have them all.
I know,
the whole gang had to be there together so that they can resolve this literal international crisis together.
Yep. And I guess if they're still like, yeah, it's a game. Wink, wink.
Yeah, haha, we got it. Yeah, true. Everyone's got to be here. Yeah, that's sure. Little reach there.
Trying to help.
Thank you. Help them out. I forget who wrote this out. If it was, or wrote this episode, if it was Ken Spears or not, but help them out. So as these rats, they're forcing essentially Dale and Zipper to take pictures of the jet tank's schematics with Dale's like bow tie camera flashing light thingy, which I guess now we know it's also a camera. Before it was literally just a bow tie that flashed light out of it, but that's cool. Or I guess maybe we don't know if it is a camera, because at that same time, Francis is like, yeah, if this doesn't work, you better hope that this camera works, because otherwise, we're gonna have to get rid of you. Oh Yikes. God. Oh no.
Yikes.
And essentially, it turns and we see Mo or Louie, again, don't know, with the gadget to control the jet again. Yeah. And so it's like, oh shit, yeah, you better get this right, because that dude does not know how to honestly, I guess it doesn't matter if you get it right, because he doesn't know how to control it. You're gonna die either way. This is not gonna go well.
Purposeful or accidental, you're done.
Yeah. And Gadget at this point, she realizes that the only way for them to get free, her, Monty, and Chip are still tied up while Dale and Zipper are taking these pictures. And Gadget's like, well, the only way that we're going to get free is if we distract the rats and prevent them from firing the tank's cannon. Because I guess, Zipper and Dale, they won't give them the schematics, either that. No, what it probably is, she knows that camera thing does not work.
Yeah,
so she's like, oh shit.
I literally just made it flash to make Dale think that it works.
Them, because they're going to kill us when they find out that that's just a toy.
Again, a game.
So this is probably the second funniest part of the episode. I should have mentioned, those three, they're still tied up, but where they are is in the tank's cannon. That shoots out missiles and stuff, all tied up, just sitting in that, the opening.
Oh yeah, they're definitely gonna die.
Yeah, for sure. They're the first to go, instant on impact. So Chip tells Gadget that the best way that they can distract the rat henchmen is to do her secret agent act for Mo, like she did for Dale.
She's gonna honeypot him again.
And hilariously, though, Gadget's like, what? I couldn't do that. I don't even know him. Which, good for you, girl.
Yeah,
don't be out here trying to pimp her out. Yeah. And she's like, I don't know this man. Good for you. But unfortunately, Chip, he lays it on pretty hard, and he's like, it's the only way we can help Dale. And she's like, damn it, okay, fine. But what she does is, I think, the funniest thing I've ever seen in an episode of Rescue Rangers, Grace.
Okay.
I know that's a bold statement.
I'm ready for it.
Maybe my sense of humor is lame, but y'all tell me. Go watch this episode and let me know. So what she does, you immediately hear the music change to that sultry brr, brr, brr. Oh, no. And she just she already has her wig off. Her arms, remember, she's tied up, so her arms are behind her back. So she just kind of stands up a little bit and jimmies and whistles. And Mo looks over at the tank, and literally, because she can't use her arms or legs, she just does this with her shoulders.
She does shimmies.
She just shimmies her shoulder. Like, in Mo, it works.
Did she say anything?
No, she doesn't say anything. So she's tied up. She's like so far away from them because she's in this tank. She can't really walk because she's tied up. She literally just whistles and like, boom, honeypot. Got him.
God.
Got him.
Rodents
Mo,
are so thirsty.
Mo dives right in, which, yeah, that was my first thought. I was like, this dude's probably not even seen a female rodent in like 30. It's like what they say about pirates or like old sailors. Like the legend of mermaids is that they were actually manatees because like, and pirates thought that they were these beautiful women because it's so long since they'd seen a woman or whatever. They'd been lost at sea. This is essentially like that. It's like she really did nothing like at all. And he was like, oh my God.
But also like clearly that worked on like Dale earlier too, basically. Like,
well, no, she like actually kissed Dale though, and was like, she could use her arm. She was like holding his face and hugging him and like rubbing his shoulders. Yeah, like she was it was actually a little, it was a little too much probably for a Disney afternoon show if you ask me what she was doing with Dale.
So
this though, for all we know, could have just been her trying to like scratch her ear.
Or she's like trying to get out of it.
It kind of looks like she's like trying to like tug her way out or whatever. Yeah, you know. And it works though. It is enough to set Mo off. Which also seems kind of risky because you don't want him to like trigger any thoughts when you're literally sitting in the cannon of the tank.
God, he's the one who had it on. Great.
Yeah. So anyway, he elicits this massive thought. I don't want to know thought it was, but the tank goes haywire. And thankfully, rather than firing a cannon, it actually just like flings the rescue rangers out into safety.
So like he like broke it, kind of?
He didn't break it. So I should explain this machine actually. And I'm glad you said that because this is a good time to explain it because it's about to get even more confusing, things that this machine can do. So I called it a jet tank, and it's a thought-powered jet tank. So initially, it just looks like a tank, on like the two, whatever, elongated wheels, whatever, rectangular shape with the cannon coming out. But when you trigger it, it does all these weird things, like it spins around and it changes into different like vehicles, so to speak.
Classic spy-esque.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Right. And like animators being like, we don't want to explain the science, so we're just going to like make it do all these crazy, weird, shaky things. And then the next thing you know, boom, it's a jet now. Or boom, it's got a giant gun instead of like some missiles or whatever coming out. Like different weapons pop out of it when you think of them. It can go back from a jet to a tank like that. Very interesting thing. Honestly, if this thing existed, we would be in some real trouble as a global society.
Right.
This is too much power in anyone's hands or in anyone's thoughts, I suppose.
Yeah,
in anyone's minds. So anyway, Dale and Zipper, they take this opportunity while, everyone's very distracted by the jet tank going haywire. They take this opportunity to knock the goons off of the table that they're on.
Nice.
And Zipper then swoops in and steals the thought device thingy off of Mo's head.
Nice.
And he hands it over to Dale. I guess he didn't want to use it himself. It's sad. Maybe he doesn't think his brain is big enough. And Dale's is. But Dale puts this device on his head. Yeah, gotta keep it moving. Sorry, Dale. No hate on you. No shade. We love you. So Dale, he puts this device on his head and he immediately starts controlling the tank. He's like firing these warning shots at the goons, like firing all around them, getting them to jump around and shit, getting very violent. And at the same time, right as Dale is getting the helmet or, taking control of this machine vehicle, The greatest spy in the world from Bulgaria has returned to the military base and he's ready to find the microfilm that the idiot rats lost. So I guess like at this point, because he doesn't know that they're there. So at this point, he's just like given up. Like it's taking them too long. I'm just going to do it myself.
Yeah. He maybe should have done that from the start.
Probably. Like, again, never trust a rat with your stuff. You shouldn't have.
They're literally called rats. They're going to rat on you. That's where the term comes from. It's not trustworthy.
Yeah. And so he's still donning his whole like Professor Whitebread outfit with the wig and the mustache, and he's got the credentials, the badge and everything. So he like kind of has his head down and flags his way in through security pretty easily. And I should have mentioned it, but when Dale was firing those warning shots, he actually like blows a hole in the wall again.
I was gonna say, like, did they not up the security after last time?
No, I have reasons to believe that the greatest spy in the world actually just like dipped right after the rats did and didn't fend off security at all.
It was just like, oh, there's a weird mistake.
Yeah, I'll deal with it. Or yeah, like he was actually that's right. Even better point, because he looks like Professor Whitebread. So they're like, oh, you darn professor. Scientist. We'll just ask the Pentagon for more money to patch this up real quick. No big deal. Keep on doing your kooky experiments.
Yeah.
You're right. So anyway, the goons, they're like running out of this hole and they run past the boss actually, who's like at the same time, like trying to get in. And so he's like, wait, y'all are here? And also, why is there another hole? What are you running from?
Yeah.
And so the Dale thought powered tank, it comes like careening out of the testing room, and the boss and the rats, they quickly are running away, hoping to like get back to the boss's car. He's like pulling his wig and mustache off because he's like running back in there and getting in. But Dale, he's still like busts right through the building and just follows right after them, chasing them down. And the boss, though, or the greatest spy in the world from Czechoslovakia, he's got this like super cool gadget car as well. And he like unleashes oil out of it. So there's like this again, on a military installation, they get into like this high-speed chase.
Are the rescue rangers in a car? They're in the tank still. Oh my god.
They're still in this tank.
They're all in there.
And the spy is like letting oil out of the back of his vehicle.
Great.
And they're like slipping and sliding through it and all that. And then Dale's like, okay, well, I guess I'll turn it into a jet. So then they start flying. So you've got a high-speed chase with like a jet over a car at a military installation. Again, I need to keep stressing, where are the soldiers?
Well, I guess maybe I'll go back on what we just said, that he like acted like he was the professor. Maybe he literally just like murdered everyone on base, so that there's like just literally there's just dead bodies scattered throughout base. And like, this is the next day, so no one's realized it yet. Like the alarm hasn't gone off. So like literally no one is there.
Oh my god.
Because they're all dead.
Jeez, anyways. Disney. How dare they?
Dark.
Hey, I told you. It's a good thing this is the last episode. We might get ourselves in trouble if we try to go even darker than this. So so at this point, again, is a high-speed air/road chase going around this military facility. Dale is using the thought device thingy to like launch missiles and all of this stuff out of the tank. They're like doing flips in the air and avoiding missiles that are being shot back at them from the greatest spy in the world. And so finally, after this high stakes chase is over, Dale, he uses his thoughts and just decides, you know what, let's end it once and for all. And he shoots lasers actually out of the tank at the boss's car.
Oh my god.
And it like cuts apart the frame of the car and essentially leaves the greatest spy in the world immobile. Yeah. So he's just like on his butt, sitting out there like, oh my god, what did I do? And so the rescue rangers, they're all celebrating this win. it's talking about, Dale, you finally did it. You're awesome. Like, you're so good at all of this. And Dale, though, he's a little too excited about all this praise and takes the helmet off.
Oh no, while they're flying.
The jet just like slams down to the ground right onto the greatest spy in the world's car. Thankfully, he and the rats literally like they tuck and roll.
Okay,
like,
great.
Right as it happens.
Oh
yes,
God.
Disney did not go that far. Thank God. Now, funny enough, though, if this were Darkwing Duck, that tank would have landed dead. Right on them. But the writers would have done something like pulled them out where they're all like flattened or something like that, and then like take them to jail. The slight differences and appropriateness between these shows. And so the boss, he's like super like just distraught. His whole plan is ruined. His home country and all of the other Eastern European nations are now going to be overrun by these violent uprisings. Communism in East Europe is now coming to an end, and there's nothing that he can do to profit off of or end it. So he's like, well, who the fuck is in that tank? Because keep in mind, like this whole time, the Rescue Rangers, they're in the tank. So the spy has not actually seen what it is, what amazing, awesome force, covert force of ex-military, perhaps turned secret agents who could have possibly defeated him. And so as he's sitting there waiting to see who is going to pop out, finally the fucking soldiers arrive, a few of them at least, and they start to carry him off and take him into custody. But as they're dragging him, so this one actually gets locked up. Yes. But as they're dragging him away, the Rescue Rangers pop out of the tank. The spy, this is his villain origin story. Okay. Like his true villain origin story, because he's like, are you kidding me? Chipmunks just beat the greatest spy in the world. Fucking rodents. Seriously? And he's just like deliriously laughing now as the soldiers are carrying him away. Yikes and lols. As I said, he is probably going to get even worse. This is his villain origin story. And that's pretty much the end, y'all. God. That's it. Chip and Dale ended communism. Chip and Dale.
Can I propose? Can I give you one immediate thought I had, and then propose a wild speculation to you? So one, as soon as you're like military showed up, my first thought was like off to Guantanamo. Dark.
I guess. Yeah. Dark. Wasn't that like right around the time that they got Guantanamo? Or no, was that in the 60s?
I don't know, to be honest. But either way, if it was then or in the 60s, it would have been around.
It would make sense. That's where they would go. Yeah.
Yep, so
either that or I guess
yikes.
There's another one in Colorado too. I forget, ADX or something. It's like the highest security. Like
either way.
That too.
Like, if he's the greatest man in the world,
it'll be
like
Guantanamo.
CIA,
it's like a war criminal. So
yeah, exactly.
Time for him to get recruited by terrorists. Anyway, keep it moving. Next.
Yes, exactly. That's why I want to say yikes to my first thought.
Yeah.
Second, though, throughout this tale that you beautifully, incredibly wove for us, my other thought was, both on the so I was like, how did he get these 3 rodents? Like, where did they come from? And then also like this mind control-esque device. And I would like to propose, because we see him in later episodes, call back to like 2 or 3 episodes ago, Professor Nimnol, of like, how did he, after like his career failed and all that stuff that we speculated, how did he get the funds to like continue being a criminal? And did he maybe like sell his schematics to the U.S. military complex because his friend was hooked up with it, the Boston whatevers. So he sold mind control robot ideas. And then 2, did he just start training rats to be like really smart? And then he sold the rats to the spy. Right. And that's how he makes money to be a bad criminal.
It's selling trained/tortured lab animals.
Yes.
Pretty much. It's
And
like, well, the robot thing fell through.
Yeah.
So yeah, these
that's
rodents, at least Mo and Louie, they were at the bottom of Nimnol's class. Because they never quite figured out how to control that thing. They did a lot more damage than they meant to, I think.
I like say that Nimnol was good at it, but
also
I think he's
true.
doing it. Yeah.
He's doing it. Yeah. He's definitely giving some misrepresentations to the people he's selling to. Probably like really overdoing it to the greatest spy in the world. Like, oh, trust me, these rats. Oh my God. And that's why the dude's so pissed. Like, oh my God, I spent so much fucking money on these things.
These goddamn rats to only be beat by other rodents.
Yeah. Who have also taken down Nimnol, the dude he bought the rats from. No one can get past the Rescue Rangers.
Bam.
Which, I think that's a good way to sum up this arc of ours that we've done. And let me say, so I wanted to do that episode because of the 00 reference and how it's kind of an important part of the movie. Not giving anything away. Everyone go watch it still if you haven't yet. But also because we actually see Dale save the day in this one. Like, Dale gets his moment. Yes. He's the one who was flying that jet tank thing the whole time. He got to live his 00 agent dream.
And he did a good job.
He eventually did a good job. He did it. He did it. There's a lot of qualifiers in this show. Like, he's selling the rats. I didn't say he was good at training them. And he took down the greatest spy in the world. I didn't say it was successful up until that point. True. At the end of the day, it's not about the journey. It's about the destination.
That we're flipping that cliche on its head.
Also, I would just like to say another perfect encapsulation of some crimes go slipping through the cracks. Because in my mind, I was like, all right, so we've got this guy stealing stuff from the military. Like, already, that's definitely a crime. But really, the first crime that happened was he held hostage or kidnapped that professor. Which, by the way, he did. I didn't mention it, but when Dale blew the hole and whatnot out of the facility, we just see the locker open and the professor's tied up and hobbles out. So no one would have known that he was locked up, honestly.
Oh no, this is the first Scooby-Doo episode.
Oh my God, you're right. Yeah, because they didn't even know. The Rescue Rangers had no clue.
They accidentally solved a missing persons case that no one was looking into.
They didn't even see. Also, the way it happens, I'll just spoil it. Or it's not really spoiling. I'll just say it though. No one notices Professor Whitebread hobbling out of there. So it's they never knew. It's
because he's so boring that they named him Whitebread. He's so unnoticeable. That's why they gave him that name.
Truly.
The most average, but also genius.
Other than the fact that he looks like Einstein. Yeah.
Wow. So incredible work. What a way to end the Rescue Rangers arc.
Ooh, incredible. Yes, I'll miss them. I will. This is fun.
Will, yeah.
Because I think we both said at the beginning, neither of us watched this show growing up, or at least I know I didn't. So
I would see it on VHS, but I did not remember pretty much any of these episodes.
Yeah.
Which was fun to get into.
To watch them as a full-grown adult is it's something else, y'all. Go do it again. All of these episodes are on Disney Plus and totally worth it. Totally fun. Watch the new movie too. Who knows? Maybe another movie will come out. Maybe a more grown-up, more mature, slightly funnier and more coherent version of the Rescue Rangers will end up on Disney Plus or Hulu or something soon.
Maybe
I've heard
one of
rumors
those two will
of
hire
that.
us to rewrite it.
Maybe
we will
one day. Yeah, we're here, I guess. I mean, aside from our 9 to 5s, but other than that, we're here.
We're here.
We're here.
Yep.
Hi.
Yep.
So
what's up?
So
Great job.
It's been fun, a fun 8 weeks, but we are super, super excited for the next couple of months. We love our next show. We cannot wait. But until then, our next show, Grace, who should they tell our dear audience and viewers, who should they tell about this lovely podcast?
I think in a sprinkle of foreshadowing for our next series, I think they should tell a farmer. Go to a farmer's market, find the farmer there, and tell the farmer about. I know we've done farmer's market before, but specifically find a farmer.
A farmer.
Yes.
Okay.
And tell them about this podcast. Let them know.
All right.
It's a little foreshadowing for folks.
Cool. I'll continue on with your foreshadowing, and I will say, tell a newscaster.
Oh, nice.
Tell a newscaster about this show, if you know one, or if not, just like email them saying, hey, there's a great podcast out there called Saturday Morning Mysteries. I don't know what show they're about to talk about next, but apparently it has something kind of to do with a newscaster. Maybe Grace's foreshadowing is a lot stronger than mine, but you'll see.
You picked a good one, though. You picked a good one. Great job.
It's one that could apply to like 1,000 shows.
Same with this. I mean, mine,
as
which
could
is why
yours.
We're very cryptic.
If anyone can guess what show we're doing next based on the overall theme of our podcast and the 2 hints that we just foreshadowed there, I personally will write you a check for $5. So
wow.
Yeah, big spender.
You're gonna get
over
a Venmo
here.
from
Or I'll Venmo
Alexis
you $5.
Bird.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Send us an email if you think it, or drop it in the comments or something. I'm only saying this because I don't think anyone can do it, which is like, then why not wager like 5,000, right? Because that's
just
the
in
risk
case.
I'm not willing to take.
Yeah. And it has to be between now and next Saturday. So if you're watching this episode in like 4 months,
this is inapplicable.
Doesn't count.
Now.
Yeah. You have a week from right now.
Yes, aka today's the 27th of July. Go. All right.
Bam. Great.
And we will now see you next Saturday for our new show.
Yes. All right. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on, so just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.